questions. He mentioned if Anthony Joshua vacates that WBO title, that you and Usyk would be in line to fight for that vacated title. What do you think about that?
Oh, I would love the opportunity to fight Usyk. I think he's a great fighter with top skills, good movement, and I'd love to test myself against him if it's for the world title. But I mean, there's a lot of things happening in the background, and I just got to leave it up to my manager and promoters to make it happen. But if the opportunity arose, I'll take it with both hands.
But what did you think about his heavyweight debut against Chaz Witherspoon?
I don't think it was the best that he's shown, and he's the best performance from him. But I guess it's just maybe it's always a good welcoming fight into the heavyweight division, and just trying to adjust to the weight, maybe, So, but he got the win, which is the main thing. And I guess from now on, he'll just, improve and get better and show the way he's got.
But do you think that Anthony Joshua will vacate that title?
You never know. We're just got to be patient and see what happens. I think they might, but you just never know. Boxing things take a change just like that.
Absolutely. Speaking of changes, that rematch against Andy Ruiz, Joshua versus Ruiz, number 2, what did you make of that?
For me, I was watching it when I was in Samoa. I think it was a good fight. Ruiz, he was a little heavy, and a lot of people were saying he didn't train as hard. I think his team trained the best they could leading up to the fight. Joshua put on a clinical performance in terms of boxing and moving and not being caught. So he, from the first fight, he did a lot of adjusting and changing in his training, and he sort of executed the plan he wanted. Yeah. And it doesn't mean Ruiz is a bad fighter. He just got, beaten by the better man on a day, and he'll come back stronger.
And in your opinion, aside from yourself, who do you think is the best heavyweight right now?
I always back myself. I think Fury. Yeah. I put him as, at the top. After me. I think, his boxing skills and his movement, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does on the night when he fights Wilder. Yep.
Those are the words of Mr. Parker, Spidey, Spidey Joseph Parker. And he had a different perspective, being a common opponent from Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. He beat Andy Ruiz. He lost to Anthony Joshua. And he had a good take, his counterpunch on the fight himself. He said that Andy came in a little heavy. Of course, he didn't think that, like a lot of people, he didn't think that Andy was out of shape. He came in heavy. Didn't mean he was just completely out of shape. It wasn't any time where Andy Ruiz looked gassed. Okay, so I do agree with that. And he said that it was a good fight. It was, Anthony Joshua put on a boxing clinic. From the adjustments he did from the first fight to the second fight was just, was like night and day, and it showed the adjustments that he made fighting a person that looks for you to come forward and attack you just like Anthony Joshua did. The difference between those two fights, Anthony Joshua did exactly what Andy Ruiz wanted him to do. Okay? Versus the total opposite the second time. It reminds me of Canelo when he fought Golovkin the first time. And then the second time, Golovkin expected him to run or to box, right? But he didn't. He gave him something that he didn't expect. That's why it was so hard for Golovkin, and he pressed Golovkin. That's what made that fight so close. But in this case, he did the opposite. Anthony Joshua came in and boxed him. Calmed down, relaxed, used the ring, got on the Klitschko diet, right? Along with other Klitschko advice. And boxed and outboxed Andy Ruiz. And he proved a lot in that fight. Coming from someone like Joseph Parker that did the same thing. You have to use your feet to beat Andy Ruiz, because he's a good combination fighter. He's a good counterpuncher. Okay, So that's a very dangerous combination, especially when you're trying to take it to him. That's not going to work good in your favor. Someone that has a chin, someone that has a heart, someone that, hey, he's never been down until he fought Joshua. But Joshua was fighting fire with fire in the first fight. Second fight, it was fire with finesse. And I'll talk about that in another video. But Joshua knew what he had to do. And back to Parker. Parker, a fighter of his magnitude, he can respect that. And I would expect nothing less from what he said. Why? Because Parker knew how to box Andy Ruiz. He knew you can't stand there and let Ruiz set up shots. Because all he's going to do, he throws 4 or 5. He puts together combinations like Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales, and smaller Mexican fighters. Then him being so big, that makes him an anomaly, okay? But if you do that with him and you play into his game, he can just outwork you if you're trying to take it to Andy Ruiz. Coming from a person that is shorter, and he can take your punch. He's a tough guy. Take nothing away from Andy Ruiz, but he could not deal with the distance, the movement, and the boxing ability of Anthony Joshua. And he showed it that night. And Joseph Parker, a.k.a. Spidey, seen that and recognized that as well. I expect nothing less from Joseph Parker. What's in the future for Joseph Parker? I would like to see him fight for the WBO with Usyk. That would be a very good fight with the speed and the size of these two guys. That would be good. That would be a pretty even match. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Joseph Parker's assessment of Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua 2. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.